Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you all doing today? So in today's video, we are going to be making this beautiful style on this cream, and I'm going to be drafting it on my brown paper here, after we shall transfer it to my fabric. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys. Thank you so much for always coming back to this channel to check out our new videos. Please always like the videos for us, comment, tell us what you think about the videos, areas to work on, and which one you have worked on and you've seen it helpful. We really appreciate your feedback, right? And if this is your first time on this YouTube channel, please do well to like and subscribe and be part of the family already. There is a lot going on in this channel, and if you have any question, please drop it on the comment section. So let's get down to the video. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to come down ½ inch. That will serve as our guideline or the shoulder line, right? So this is our ½ inch. Next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to be starting with my vertical measurement. So I'll come down from the shoulder line. I'll be coming down 11 inches. That will serve as the nipple point or shoulder to bust. Under bust is 15.5. So 15.5, that's the under bust. Then the half length is going to be 17 for the front. Then I added extra 2 inches to it. I'm going to use ½ inch to join it to the down part. Then I'll be cutting 1.5 inches later on. So I will make this line into a straight line. I'm going to be marking my neck width. I'm going to be using 4.25, which is here. Then the shoulder divided by 2, I'm going to be using 8.25, which is here. So now I'm going to also come down 8.25, which is here. Then I also go out to the same thing and square the line. So I'm going to be coming down from this shoulder width. I'm going to be coming down 1 inch for our shoulder slope, go up ½ inch. That's the shoulder measurement. That's the shoulder seam allowance. I also go up on this neck width. I'll connect my shoulder slope this way. I'll connect my shoulder seam allowance of ½ inch this way. So now I'm going to be marking the nipple to nipple measurement plus ½ inch to join back later on. So I'll mark it here. Here I'm using 4.75. So I also mark it on the bust line. So remember, this is our original waistline, right? So on this waistline now, I'm going to be marking 1 inch in, then go out 2 inches. So on the under bust too, I'll do the same thing. 1 inch in, 2 inches out. So I'll connect this line straight down. So now on my bust line, I'm going to be coming down 0.75, going up 0.75 as well. So I'll place my curve ruler this way to connect it. Pay attention to how I'm placing this curve ruler, right? So place my curve ruler this way. I also place this two this way to connect this. Hope that is clear. So now, after determining that, the next thing to do now, we're going to be marking the horizontal measurement. So my bust circumference divided by 4 is 10.5, which is here. I will need, remember we include ½ inch to this when we're doing our nipple to nipple. So ½ inch to join here, ½ inch to join here, that's 1 inch. So I will add it here. That's to join this panel back when I cut that off. Then I'll be adding 2.5 for the side seam. You can use whichever one that is comfortable with you. So the waist circumference divided by 4 is 9. Then the dart intake here is 3 inches. We'll replace that. Then we'll need 1 inch to here to join this panel back. so we'll also put it here. Then the size seam of 2.5 inches, we'll mark it here. So now what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to connect this point now straight down. Then I'll connect this point to meet up here. Hope that is clear. So remember this line that we have here, so this become our chest line. That's why we're having all the points here. So we'll mark this point here. So now from this slope now I'm going to measure what is remaining here, which is 7.5. So I'll mark the midpoint of it. Then I'll be coming down 0.75, coming out 0.75. Hope that is clear. So I'll use my curve ruler to connect my armhole curve. So you see, so that's for the armhole now. So the next thing to do now is to determine how low you want it to be. So I want mine to be 5 inches, and I'm going to remove 1/2 inch later on to turn it with my lining. So that will now give me the total of 5.5 for the neck depth for the front, which is not bad. So that is fine by me. So I'm just going to connect it straight. This 5 inches, I'll connect it straight. So now I'll be marking what is remaining here for the shoulder slope and divide it by 2, mark the midpoint, right? So I'll connect it to meet this point, which is my bust, right? So that's it there. So now on this point now I'm going to be removing that off. I'm going to be making use of 1.5 inches that here, right? So I'm going to share it here. So remember that this point here we have 1 inch intake of that. So that's what I'm going to mark here too on this side of it. I'll mark 1 inch too, that intake. Then I will be going out to remain 1/2 inch, so I'll mark the 1/2 inch here. So now I'm going to connect this point now. So now I will connect this now to meet this. So one thing I want you to pay attention here is that the dart intake that I've removed from here, I'm not replacing it, right? So that's fine. So now the next thing to do now is to come down here for the box dart. I'm going to be making use of 1.25. So from up here on this box line, I'm going to go up 1/2 inch, then I'm going to come down 0.75, then I'll connect it to stop it at 1/2 inch here. This is all for the front panel. So this is for the front panel. So this is ready now. I'm going to cut it out, then cut it on my fabric. So we've added all the seam allowance on this pattern. There is no need of adding seam allowance again. Hope that is clear. So I'm going to cut this pattern now exactly as it is, except this. I'm going to add 1/2 inch on this place to join it back to meet this, right? But I'm not going to add 1/2 inch on this side. Hope that is clear. So this is for the front. So we'll move to the back. So I'll be using this pattern from the back, and I'm going to be measuring my zip seam, which is 1.5. So I'll mark it here. Mark it here. So I'll be doing my center back shaping, right? So here I'll be removing 0.75. If you've been watching my videos before now, you should understand this point. So I'll connect it up. I'll I'll connect it up like this. Then from this 0.75 now I'll go out again 1 inch. So connect it up. So this to remove the excesses you have on your zip part, right? So now our seam allowance, all our measurement is going to be starting from this line now. But when I want to sew it later on, I'm still going to use my 1.5 for the zip, 1/2 inch to turn the lining, 1 inch for the zip seam. So from here now I'm going to come down 1/2 inch for our guideline. I'll be coming down 11 inches for my bust point, 11 inches. Then remember the front has 17 inches for the length. The half length is 17 inches. This back I'll be using 16 inches, so that was 1 inch shorter. Then remember we added 2 inches extra, right? We use 1/2 inch to turn it, but we'll cut 1.5 inches all out later on. Hope that is clear. So I'll make this into a straight line. So the next thing to do now, I'm going to be measuring my neck width. Remember we make use of 4.25. Then in shoulder measurement we use 8.25. So I'm also going to square it here too. I'm going to be coming down 1 inch for my slope, going up 1/2 inch for the shoulder measurement. Connect my shoulder slope, connect my 1/2 inch for shoulder seam allowance. Then I'll measure the remaining, what is left, then mark the midpoint of it, come down 1/2 inch, come out again 1/2 inch. Then on this chest line now, this become our chest line, right? So on the chest line I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Remember it is 10.5, so we'll mark it here. Then plus 1 inch to join these two panels together when I cut it out. Then plus 2.5 inches for side seam. So this is what we have here. Then on the waistline too, I'm also going to mark my waist circumference divided by 4, which is 9. I'll mark it here. Plus 1 inch for that. I'll mark it here. Plus 1 inch to join this back when I cut it out. I'll mark it here. Plus 2.5 inches for side seam. I'll also mark it here. So this is it. So now this point is what we have here. So this is the line. So I'll just leave it that way, right? So I'll just leave it that way, right? So now I'll mark the neck depth for the back. I'm going to make use of 6 inches for the neck depth for the back. So I'll connect it from my shoulder neck depth, 6 inches for the back. I want it to be low at the back. So then at this armhole area I will mark 5.5, right? So it will give me a little bit slant, right? So from here too I also measure the 4.25 too on this line and connect this line straight. So now I'll be marking 1/2 inch on both sides. After I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 4 plus 1/2 inch. I'll mark it here. Then I'll mark 1/2 inch on both sides of it. This is for my dark intake. I'll be connecting it to this neckline, right? So this it will be cutting out. Hope that is clear. So this is our dart. We're going to be going off on this part too. We're going to be going off for the back shaping. So now I'll connect my armhole. So this is for our back now, and I'll be cutting it out. So we left with these two panels for the back, right? So now I'm going to be cutting this on my fabric. So you can also remove this if you want. So this is what we have now. So when I want to cut this, I'll add half inch too on this side, but I will not add half inch on this other side. Hope that is clear. So we'll sew this back, we'll sew this back. So these are all my panels now. So I'll go back to my, I'll go and cut them on my fabric, iron stay on there, iron my wording too, and the lining on one side, then come back. Here is it now, guys. I've already cut it on my fabric, and this is for the front. This is the yoke part. You can see the way I cut it. I cut two of it folded, so the neck area will be folded. There is no need of turning the neck, right? So that's it. I'm just showing you how I'm going to place it. So I cut two of it, so I'll keep that aside, and I'm going to remove the pattern and show you how I'm going to place them to go over to my sewing machine to sew them together. That's the panels together, right? So I'll keep the lining aside. This is the main fabric. I've ironed my wording on it, so you can see where the wording stopped, right? So I'm just going to place them on both sides, right side face each other, right? You can see the way I'm placing it. Just look at the way I'm placing it. So I'm just going to place it that way, then sew with half inch, right, to the end, half inch on both sides. So that's it for the front. So the same thing too I'm going to do to the lining. As you can see the way I'm placing the lining, and this is the down part, my skirt. The basic is just a basic skirt, guys, so just go ahead to cut your basic skirt with the lining as well. So I'll sew them and come back to show you. Then this is the back part. Now the back part too, this is the yoke for the back part. I've also cut it and add half inch to the down part as I'm showing you, right? So and I cut two of it, and I cut it folded, right? So I'll keep that aside and show you how I'm going to stitch. That's for the zip part for the back side, and that's the line for the dart area, and I'm going to join them together, right? So I'm just demonstrating how I'm going to place them. So that's the two panel I'll place there to sew just the dart area, right? And this is the down part of the back side. So I'm going to sew all my panels together, then come back to show you. This is it now. I've already sewn it. This is for the back, right? And this is the zipper allowance part, right? So what I have done here, this is the upper part and this is the down part. So I've joined the upper part with the down part, and this is the seam allowance. So turning it to the wrong side, this is what we have. I've sewn the two panels for the upper part together and ironed the seam, right? And I've also sewed the dart for the down part, right? So this is the dart here. I'm going to sew it, then place the right side face each other this way, then sew it with my seam allowance to join the down part and the upper part, which is what I've done here, then iron it out. So this is it. So the same thing that I've done here for the back part is the same thing I've done to the both side, right, and the lining, the both side of the lining. So I join the upper part to the down part, fabric to fabric, lining to lining. Hope you understand that. So this is what I have done now. So I'll place this aside, then show you the front part. So this is the front part, right? So I've also sewed this to the dart. So this is it. I've sewn it here. I've also sewn it here. So let's turn it to the wrong side so that you understand it. So this is it. This is my wording that I've padded on this bust area, right? So I've sewn the dart. This is the seam for the dart, right? Then iron it, right? Then place them. No, there is no dart for the down part for the front, right? So I place them right side face each other this way, then sew it with my seam allowance, right? So then iron it out. So hope this is clear. So the same thing I've done here, that's what I've done to the lining. Remember the lining, we did not pad, we did not put wording on the lining. It's just on this make fabric that we put wording. So I've also joined the lining to the upper part with the down part together. So this is what we have. So then iron it properly. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead now. This is for the yoke, right? This is the yoke part, the shoulder part. So you see the way I cut it, right? So I cut two of it, and the neck area I cut it folded, right? So now, so it's going to go this way, right? This folding part will be on the neck area. So it's starting from this dart, right? It's starting from this dart here, and this one too is also starting from this dart here, right? So this is how it will look. So what I want to do now is that I'll place it this way, right? I'll also place this to this way, right? Then I'll place the lining on top. Then this is the lining. I'll place it on top this way, right? So I'm going to sew this with 1/2 inch on the neck area. So remember, the yoke is inside. You place the yoke like this. It's going to start from that area. So place it on it like this. You can even go ahead and stitch it on it first, right? So that it can be firm in one place. So stitch this on this first. Then you now place the lining on top like this. Place the lining on it like this. Make sure you arrange it properly. Then you are going to sew just the neck area, right? This from this armhole here to the next armhole here, right? So you're just going to sew it 1/2 inch, then top stitch on the lining, right? After which you drag it down like this. Remember, the lining is short than the main fabric, so when you place it this way, your lining it will not reach to the down part. So when you are finished sewing this side and you have top stitch on it on the neck, this neck area, you have top stitch on it, then you drag it down like this, right? You drag it down and sew this down part with 1/2 inch. In this way we are doing inner finishing, right? So you sew this down part with 1/2 inch, right? Sew it with 1/2 inch. Then you come to this armhole here. You start from this point here too. You sew it to the down part too with 1/2 inch. So you sew this side with 1/2 inch. You also sew this side with 1/2 inch. Hope that is clear. So I will do that now to this and also to the back side. I'll just demonstrate to what I want to do. It's the same thing that I've shown for the front, right? So this is the lining for this. So, and this is the lining for this other side. So I'll place it on it like this, right side face each other too. Then this is the yoke for the back, right? So the same thing too that I did, the same thing that I've done here too. So the same thing too, the yoke is also starting from this dart that we have for the back, right? This is the dart. So we'll place it this way, and the folded part is what is going this way too. So we'll also place it on it like this. So we're going to turn it like this. Then you can hold it down here small. That you can hold it. This is it. So I just place it right side face each other this way. Then you can sew it small first to hold it down. Then you can also place this one too this way, right? Place it too, starting from this dart to place it this way. You can also hold it down small too. Then you place the lining on top, right? Place the lining on top like this, right? Then you go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch this way. So you sew this with 1/2 inch, top stitch on the lining, right? Top stitch on the lining, then you place it back. Then remember too, the length too is not getting to the down part here too, so you drag it down, right? And sew with 1/2 inch. After which you come back and start, you sew this side too with 1/2 inch, right? You sew this side with 1/2 inch. Then the armhole will be left open, right? So you use from the armhole to turn it out. Hope that is clear. So you turn it out at the armhole. So you do the same thing too to this other side too. So, and here is it. So I've already torn it with the lining. This is the inside. This is the inside, right? You can see how neat it is. And this is the hem part. So this is it now. This is already sewn in and out. Very neat, right? So here is it now. This is for the front part, and I've torn it with the lining, and this is what we have now. So for the back, this is for the back. This is one side of the back, right? And I've also torn it too with my lining. You can see how neat it is. So I turn it out from the armhole, just as I've explained before, right? So I'll be placing them now, right side face each other, right? I'll bring the other side of the back. This is it. So I'll be placing it to sew the shoulders. So I'll open it up like this. I'll open these two up like this. Then I'll be using the back to turn the front. I'll place it like this, right? Can we place it like this? Place this side too, like this, right? To make sure that this center is meeting this center, right? If you are seeing it, make sure that this center for this and it's meeting the center of this. So I'll place it like this. So I can place it like this to sew with 1/2 inch, right? Place this side too to sew with 1/2 inch, or I can place it like this, the front together like this. Then I'll place this one to turn it like this, right? I'll turn it like this. Then I will go over to my sewing machine and sew this with 1/2 inch. Whichever one that is easy for me, I'll do it. So I'll sew it this way, then sew this other side too, the same way. Then this one, I'll place it like this, this side. Then I'm going to shape in the side with my seam allowance, right? So you make sure that this meets together, right? Make sure that it's meeting together. Then you are going to sew it all down, right? Do the same thing to this other side too. Do the same thing. So then I'll fit my zip at this back side. I'll fit the zip starting from here, right? The normal way we fit our zip. I'll fit this starting from here like this to where I want the zip to stop. Then I'll sew the remaining parts down. So after which I will measure the armhole, right? I'll measure this armhole round, then use it to cut on my sleeve, then fit the sleeve, and that will be all for this video. So I will be showing you few details on the sleeve, right? So I will do that now. So I'll be using this brown paper from the sleeve. So what I have here is 15 by 13. So the length is 15. This is it, and the width is 13, right? So what I'm going to do now is that on this will be for the folded part, right? So on this other part where I will sew, so on this other part, I'm going to be coming down 4.5 inch. So this is it. So I'm going to be making my armhole curve on this place. So I'll be curving it this way to meet the 4.5 inches, right? So that's it. So this is the armhole curve, right? Hope that is clear. So now on this other side too, this side, I'm going to go up 1.5, which is here. The sleeve length is going to be 9 inches, right? That includes the seam allowance. That's 1/2 inch up here and 1/2 inch down here. So the sleeve length will come out to 8 inches. So I will be connecting it to meet this. So have that curvy part, right? So we'll connect it this way. So that's it. So this is what I have now. So I'll be cutting this out, then use it to cut on my fabric. I'll cut this part folded, right? This side will be folded. So I'll be cutting 4 of it. My fabric is not really enough, but I'm trying to make sure that I will be able to get 4 out of it. So 2 for the main sleeve and 2 for the lining. So I'll iron my stay too on it. So here is it. I'm cutting it out now, and this is what we have now after cutting it out, right? So I ironed my stay on the main fabric and a soft stay on the lining part, right? So you can see the way I'm placing them right side face each other to sew. So just look at what's the picture on how I'm placing them, right? Just watch to understand how I'm placing this sleeve. So if you still want to know details on this sleeve, you can still drop your comment on the comment section, right? I will attend to it, then show us detailed video on how to cut this sleeve. So I'll be attaching this sleeve to the armhole of my dress, and that will be the end of this video, and I will show you the final results on my client's body. It came out so beautiful, just as she wanted it. She wanted it to cover her bust area, and that's exactly what we did on this video. Thank you very much, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and drop your comments. See you in the next one. Bye.